everyone, and welcome to this edition of FTT Chats. I'm Lisa Moyle, Director of Strategy at BC Innovations. And today I'm really delighted to be joined not by one, but two speakers. Joining us from LogMeIn, we have Nick Pegram, who is a director specializing in AI products, and Celine Allain, who's a financial lead. Hello, both of you.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, great to be here, Lisa.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So I was hoping we could start maybe, and Nick, you can kick us off. We recently did a report with you guys looking at how empowering employees enabled them to deliver on that promise of customer centricity. And thinking about that report, we spoke to a great range of leaders in financial innovation from a number of different institutions. Nick, could you share with us some of your views on the findings in that report?
Yeah, I was looking through some notes quite recently, actually, and the one thing that the report really drove home was the importance of empowering employees to deliver on customer centricity. I think one of the main themes that customer experience is driving banks to transform is their engagement with their customers, mainly to discover new appealing ways to support their customers. Companies really need to push boundaries on how they deal with customers and think about the entire CX journey each time they engage with them. I think it was Jenny actually from Santander that highlighted their customers expect the bank to deliver a great customer experience, and therefore this needs to start with the same expectations of their employees. So here at LogMeIn, we're seeing how companies are rapidly changing how they think about customer experience, with the new opportunities that are opening up to generate more one-to-one exchanges with their customers, while also creating more accessible and repeatable good experiences. And I think this is really where technology comes in, and you'll see as advances in the application of artificial intelligence or AI, it means that we're seeing companies use AI-enabled software, which is now enabling to map customer journeys much faster and more accurately than similar information gained from traditional survey tools. But we also learned the importance of offering a real person if the customer really needs it. And that's where our customers use a solution like Bold 360. And we hear many examples of success, such as the Indian bank ICICI, whose chatbot iPal deflected 61% in call volumes and 55% in chat agents, leaving those customers who have intelligent and informed discussions to be supported by a real agent. In addition, another key theme that companies are focusing on is customer segmentation and asking for better analytics that drive optimum outcomes for interactions with specific types of customers. So it's no longer just about key stakeholders in CX programs being from either customer service or IT or finance departments. It's now a far longer set of inputs needed for any company to improve their overall engagement and account penetration and increased sales. The additional factor is that creating a sea change in acceptance is that more and more CEOs worldwide, they're now talking and taking the deployment of AI-enabled chatbots seriously to improve their customer service and help their employees change to far more challenging types of customer interaction and use both technology and people to increase revenues as well. So technology like Bold 360 provides our customers with a white box AI, and this enables complete control of interactive content tools and improved back-end analytics to give companies a global view of their customers while also improving customer interactions. And therefore, customer-facing employees are gaining tools and resources to handle customer requests more easily and provide more satisfying customer experience. And it's also freeing up their time to deal with far more challenging and complex queries that a chatbot can't deal with. So it greatly increases the customer agent's job satisfaction, which is a key part of this transition we're seeing and this change we're seeing.
Thanks for that, Nick. And turning to you, Celine, obviously I'm working across the financial services sector in particular and seeing the challenges that institutions of all shapes and sizes have faced, particularly in recent times. I would imagine, you have quite a bit to add to what Nick's just outlined.
Yeah, and I think I would start by saying I completely agree with you, Nick. I think that not only AI is a great fit for supporting customers, and therefore provide a better customer experience, 24/7 support. But it's also a great, valuable opportunity to support employees. I guess Nick mentioned thinking about the entire customer experience journey while engaging with customers. It's exactly it. I think AI plays a major role in that journey to also empower customer-facing employees and increase not only customer engagement, but also employee engagement. I think this is, for me, what also came out from the report. AI is here to stay, and as Matthew from Lloyd's mentioned very well, but more importantly, it's about, I think, the perception of AI in customer support today. Where do we start? Who is it for? I think many companies still think that bots or AI are just there to answer basic customer queries. And it does that, but it's also more than that. A bot is your virtual agent. And again, I think it plays a major role in the front end, but also in the back end. It's definitely a key member of your employees' team, supporting and helping them to be engaged. So increasing customer engagement with AI-powered self-service tool is key to build a great customer experience, I think. But so it is to increase employee engagement as well. Like we see that a lot in our existing customer base. Once a virtual agent is fully integrated into a business, like companies like Legal & General, RBS, Fannie Mae, with whom we work with, AI can help workers in their jobs. In fact, it eliminates routine tasks, it automates tasks, and we've seen fantastic results with some of the customers I've just mentioned earlier, whereby automating tasks and paper-based processes with AI, it helps reduces call handling time, also making the call more interesting for the agent, and giving the advisor more confidence as well. Now that they've been empowered by AI to address more complex or harder exceptions.
Thanks for that, Celine. And it really outlines how we're talking about something that's way more sophisticated than a simple bot answering simple questions, and impacts from the customer right across the organization. And I think that's particularly relevant given the, immense challenges that financial institutions, and obviously institutions right across the economy, have been working under, given, national shutdowns, which were easing and now seem to be returning, and, workforces that were suddenly, with very little notice, working remotely. It would be great to hear from each of you about some of the challenges that your clients have faced in suddenly grappling with workforces that are working remotely.
Yeah, let me take that, Celine. So what we see as businesses in the banking sector, they're having to, as you say, adapt fast to remain operational, and this means changes to the way that their staff work remotely and in branches. So banks, building societies, financial services companies, they need to offer digital tools as part of their customer service experience. And consumers, especially from the younger generation, they're increasingly opting for self-service options with their daily transactions, and they'll turn to financial institutions that can offer the same capabilities. But despite this, customers still want to receive the same premier service they would receive in person and in branch, with the speed and convenience of online banking. And they want those options to allow them to self-service and operate independently, with the knowledge that the support of a fully informed and empowered customer service team is there behind the scenes to provide answers and resolve requests that need a human touch. A really good example is recently we launched an FAQ widget, which is a deploy in a day chatbot to help banks answer common questions for retail banking customers during the initial COVID-19 period, and having implemented several other technologies for the finance sector as well. And we're laser focused on unlocking the potential, whether at work, at home, or wherever businesses and individuals need to operate. We really see LogMeIn as having a big role in helping the banking sector specifically do their best work. And we're building our products to do that. It's taken a bit of a crisis for us to see that so many of us can work from anywhere, but what an opportunity. Maintaining security, productivity, and connectivity, banks can also now empower their workforces to live a more balanced and healthy life. All along, we built our customer engagement technology for the banking sector with the same design philosophy as we do for all of our products, and that's to make it really simple, secure, and easy to deploy and use from anywhere. And each of our products features a modern, simple user experience that wins over users with an optimum business experience, making it easy for IT teams and admins to deploy.
Yeah, no, those are some great examples, and they're like, the way you frame that as a crisis, suddenly making this all possible and moving it ahead quickly.
Yeah.
Celine, would you add anything to that?
Yeah, I guess I'd say that there have been so many changes lately, and all appearing at once, of course, otherwise it wouldn't have been that funny. But joke aside, I think I agree, businesses need to adapt fast to remain operational. And in fact, many of the companies we've been talking to lately are around the same thinking. So how can we create a workplace where employees can operate in an environment, whether that is virtual, physical, or hybrid, where they can make the best decision they can, and more importantly, where they can find answers themselves. So I guess as Nick and yourself, Lisa, mentioned, let's not forget that digital transformation has been accelerated by COVID, and that's a fact. But many businesses in finance still need to get it right when it comes to what a digital worker is. Is it just to enable people to access system from home? Is it using a VoIP telephony platform? What does it mean to be digital enabled as an employee? And that is where I probably see the biggest challenge at present. I think many organizations in finance thought they didn't need technology or to be digital, as traditionally finance is rather a face-to-face or fun interaction-based business. But again, it took a crisis like COVID to really understand the real benefit of technology, and more specifically digital, and how it can transform as well how company interacts with their customers and employees to achieve great customer experience, how it impacts the bottom line as well, and therefore how the company performs. So unfortunately, many organizations still have employees using emails or chat to sort of serve customers whenever they are on the phone, trying to find the right answer, or juggling among multiple knowledge bases, intranet, to get the right content. So if you just look internally, even internally, functions like HR and IT, when organization had to move people from office to home, how many times these functions have been solicited with millions of questions that could have been easily deflected to a bot or AI-powered support, and therefore let them, IT or HR, focus on more important things, such as mental health, for example, or supporting the transition from office to work, for instance. But luckily, I would end on a positive note, because we also see organizations like Legal & General, for example. They've been embracing AI through the digital transformation, and they implemented AI services across a good number of the core business units, life insurance, investment, retirement, and they are seeing great success in self-service experience with our platform by doing many things. So automating responses, learning from the questions that people ask, and they've seen an improvement in the online experience, but also in the number of queries that they've been addressing for the past year online.
Yeah, again, some great examples, and tying what you both said together. Working from home isn't just about physically being in another place, but it's having access to the tools that enable you to work efficiently, safely, thinking about security and customer needs and customer data and regulations. So I think that's some great examples that you both gave. And turning now to a topic that always draws quite a bit of interest, actually, which is the future of the bank branch. And we know pre-crisis that footfall in branches was declining significantly over the past few years. And obviously during the current crisis, many branches were even closed, so that declined dramatically. But thinking about the future of the branch and how those patterns will continue to evolve, how can financial institutions, retail banks in particular, continue to deliver that kind of non-branch excellent level of customer service that consumers demand? What are some of the practical examples of how that might work in a virtual branch experience?
I think you're hitting onto something that's really important, actually, Lisa. And what we see is that there are many businesses, from retail to hospitality, they're really struggling to create an exceptional customer experience, especially as consumers demand convenience and immediacy, as the face-to-face customer service in branches reduces and declines. Put simply, delivering this level of service, it often comes at a cost for companies, especially those with service teams that are not armed with the necessary tools. A really good example is Discount Bank in Israel. So they're able to enjoy over 50% of their customers using Didi, which is an AI-powered chatbot. Over 80% of the bank's customers are satisfied with Didi's answers. And this is especially the case with smaller banks and building societies, which they've historically been hyper-focused on differentiating on member experience and truly understanding their members' bases and needs. As big banks have implemented new cutting-edge technologies, however, this point of differentiation has been diluted. We really feel that small banks and building societies, they've got a great opportunity to take the advantage back. And we really think that AI is the key. So artificial intelligence and AI-powered technologies like chatbots, they'll provide the necessary capabilities to support the new generation of service expectations and enable smaller banks to serve thousands of members at once without putting anyone on hold, for example. These digital engagement tools also give these financial institutions the ability to provide service at scale as numbers continue to grow, even if they have less physical branches. And AI also helps smaller banks and building societies to shape a customer experience that exceeds expectations, and it allows them to also remain competitive by eliminating friction and personalizing each of the customer experience. By putting AI behind a static customer service page, for example, the FAQ page, customers can engage with a bot at any hour of the day to ask their questions. And when they do engage, the chatbot taps into its extensive knowledge base, which is constantly updated as more data is pulled in from customer interactions to answer the questions and complete the journey. And this really removes the frustration that would occur for a member when navigating around a website, unable to find what they're looking for. But just as valuable, from the data from these interactions can be used to better understand those most frequently asked questions, the points of confusion, where the journeys break down, and new features or offerings people are curious about, so the site can be optimized in real time to be even more sort of customer and member friendly. And additionally, when a situation requires a human touch, these bots provide behind the scenes support for employees. So leveraging the same knowledge base to ensure every agent has access to the information necessary to provide each customer with quick and seamless and personalized support. It could be anything from the answer the agent may need or the customer's support history and preferences to better enable the agent. And in addition to acting as the information resource, these bots work behind the scenes to perfectly complement the work of an agent by handling repetitive and mundane tasks and dealing with those kind of questions. Instead of a customer agent asking about fees, common policy questions, or directions to the closest branch, the bot can handle these inquiries and remove the burden from the human employee. This not only gives the customer a 24-hour response window, but also helps the banks and building societies maximize their service teams and their resources. And it drives a lot of value by allowing them to focus on those higher level, more complex issues. And as the customer base evolves as well, the savings banks and building societies must use a variety of different tools to meet their ever-changing expectations to provide exceptional customer experiences, no matter the time or the channel. So with the help of AI-powered technologies, these businesses can improve both the customer and employee experience and compete with the larger financial institutions well into the future.
That's great, Nick. And I like the way that you included those smaller financial institutions and building societies who we often leave out of these conversations around digital transformation. But obviously, physical branch experiences have played an important role for their customers and members. Celine, would you add to that? Because obviously the ongoing transformation of the bank branch, or servicing people in other ways, is really important to financial institutions with branch networks of all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, it is definitely, and to be fair, I couldn't have said it better than you, Nick. So but what I would add to that is that the reduction of branches in finance has started before COVID, and I think you mentioned it very well as well, Lisa, with the increase of new digital channels and consumers of all demographics now becoming more tech and digital savvy. But we are actually really looking forward to sharing more on that, Lisa. We have a virtual event coming up, taking place in October on the 22nd, where we will be sharing the great work we've done with some key players in the financial industry, but also best practices and thought leadership on how to strive in this context of branch reduction, digital worker, to keep, of course, on increasing customer experience while empowering employees and retaining customers. So hopefully all of you watching today will be tuning on the 22nd of October to attend this great virtual event that we are doing with you guys. And I guess we also have a fantastic lineup of speakers, so really looking forward to it.
Thanks, Celine, and thank Nick. Well, I think we've just started the conversation today about all those really important topics that you guys outlined. And as you mentioned, Celine, I look forward to both of you joining us and our lineup of speakers on the 22nd of October. So thank you again for taking the time to join me today. And I look forward to speaking to you both again soon.
Great.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. It was a pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Lisa.
Great.
Cheers.
Thank you.